Let's go.
Well, good morning, West Ham fans. Russ for the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. It's match day morning and it's live as West Ham take on Crystal Palace. 3 p.m. kickoff at the London Stadium. In what could, no, it's not what could be, what is a decisive game for Graham Potter. You know, anything but results day would result, I think, in him being given the old tic-tac with 𝗪𝗓 𝗪𝗧 being lined up. We're led to believe that he had an interview with Karen on Thursday and then on Friday had a meeting with David Sullivan, as reported and as photographed, not at the cafe, but he was at a cafe just down the road from the Sullivan mansion in 𝗪𝗪𝗦𝗧. And yeah, it's going to be a crucial game. Let's see, we've got the chat. Good morning, Akram, hope you're well. In terms of team news, it does seem that, well, I think Aaron's going to be out. He sort of possibly made that point quite clear. Still suffering from a stomach injury, which basically gave him, well, a really late withdrawal from the matchday squad on last Saturday for the Spurs game. He was in the squad. He was named on the bench and then was, for about 20 minutes after that, then put onto the sickness bay with Lukas Fabianski taking his position. And then we had the news that Nicholas Füllkrug and Callum Wilson both played, both had full week worth of training, which is good. We know Thomas Souček obviously is not playing as well, serving the first of his 3-match suspension. But we play a Crystal Palace side who, I think, in all honesty, have got. I think what Dan said when Anton was on down the chatting. They've got the longest current unbeaten streak in the Premier League. Of, like, they haven't lost since like April. Yeah, they've got a few players misfiring. They got, you know, I think Glasner said that Mateta was knackered following the weekend, following Thursday rather. But still, it's Wednesday. But it's no easy task. I think Adam Walter's back in the side. 𝗪𝗓 𝗪𝗧, who's their top goal scorer so far this season, he's going to be out, I think. But I think they've got up to 7 players out, to be perfectly honest. But it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. And I'm going to move because the bloke who's sitting there is now. I'll go back to a normal place. I'm going to move. I'm going to move because I don't like sitting here, because I like showing you guys the stadium, particularly if you're not here today, if you're not on this in this country. Feels like you can come along and, I'd say, part of the atmosphere. There's no fucker here, basically, and there probably won't be any fucker here. Obviously, it's the first day of the planned. Too late. Of the planned protests as well. So we obviously hope those go peacefully. But yeah, it's they've taken down some of the things. Just noticed they had these gates. They've gone anyway. Let's have a look and see. We've got the chat. Let's have a look. See, Fred. Good morning to you. How are you feeling? I think it's a really weird game, isn't it? You know, for me, what happened yesterday, or the revelation yesterday in terms of Nuno. Am I surprised? No, because for me that's the MO of the current regime. They have and actually from a business perspective, like, you know, let's look at it, business perspective, having the next person lined up isn't awful. You know, Mariakis did that as well. You know, he got rid of Nuno, and within 24 hours, if that, Ange was already lined up. Now, you don't tell me that wasn't all set up beforehand. We've done it before. You know, don't remember Tim Steidten. You know, it's even before. This is even like, not including. You know, that was under Steiden's watch. You know, Graham Potter was pictured with Tim in a hotel lobby, and we've done it. We do it all the time. Do it all the time. Part of me thinks it's interesting how things like this, like not get leaked, but Nuno had no reasoning to go to the CAF afterwards. Why would you go to a CAF down the road? I mean, 𝗪𝗪𝗧 is lovely. 𝗪𝗪𝗧, but I call it 𝗪𝗪𝗧 because my nan used to live there for 50, 60 years. So I know the area very well. Lovely area, but he has no reason to go down to the local wine bar or wherever it was to have a little something immediately after the meeting. You could have gone to Epping. Not a nice place in Epping. Could have gone Loughton. You know what I mean? But no, it was. I think in an age where everyone's got a camera on their phone, why? Even like when Potter was in the was filmed in the lobby with Tim Steidten. Why don't they just have it in an office, or hire a room somewhere rather than do it so publicly? Do you know what I mean? It just seems almost like they want to show that we're doing that as well, which I understand. Kath, hope you're well. Potter's, I can't do the things in this on my phone. Potter's position is untenable. He needs to go, even if we somehow get a result today. I don't know. Undefeated Crystal Palace, indeed. Take you, Alf. Hope you're well. On we go, indeed, my friend. Can I get it on the yeah, I can. There we go. Oh, hope you're doing, mate. Right. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. On we go again. And I hope, as much as I love House Rambles, I hope we don't get one this weekend, this week, because it means we'd have got a result. As much as I love Alf, and he talks really, really well. I mean, if you haven't go to see it, we put up on Tuesday. But he only comes on when we lose, and I don't. As much as I love you, mate, but hopefully we'll see you today. Hopefully we'll be on stream. Hopefully get Anton to get his audio working. Let's hope everyone gets to the London Stadium backs today. Backs the protests. My dream for the rebuild. Hammer, hope you're well. Palace, the set piece kings, indeed, and we're the set piece jokers. So there we go. Trevor, good morning to you. Bodger, hope you're well. 2-1 to us. That West Hand channel, hope you're well. Jamie, are we scared about? Well, the fact that we've conceded one from every 5 corners we've faced this season so far, which is strange when you think about it, because last year we had a decent, our defensive record was quite decent. It was okay. This year's just fallen off a cliff, isn't it? Absolutely fallen off a cliff. Garino, hope you're well. Adrian, hope you're well. I think the march may actually help the crowd. Look, I've said this about the crowd. I mean, the Spurs game, for example, the crowd were up for it. Every game, Bubbles is sung with gusto. The crowd are always up for it. And I keep saying it like I'm blue in the face. If what we're getting on the pitch isn't that great, the fans aren't lunatics. They're going to sing for 90 minutes totally. The fans will always give it at the beginning. And if the players... So that Spurs game, there was the first 20 minutes, half an hour, really good atmosphere because we were playing well. And then Spurs sort of got into the game and we sort of went... And as I said, if I'm going to watch a comedy show, I ain't going to laugh hysterically for 90 minutes if the comedian's not funny. Yes, I'll be up for it. I'll be up for a laugh. But if he's not matching my expectations, then I'm not going to laugh. I'm going to sit there and be quiet. And that's the issue for me. It's as much as we can talk about the dynamic that I've heard this stadium rock. Sevilla, Eintracht Frankfurt, Liverpool at home. Some of these big games. I've heard this stadium. The reason this stadium's rocked isn't because we put on a light show. Isn't because all that type of stuff. It's because what's seen on the pitch is being reflected back to the stand, and that's always been the issue. Always been the issue. I don't sign up for this football tourist thing because at the end of the day, if you're watching the game and the crowd around you are buzzing, you're going to feed off that. You're going to want to join in. You're not going to want to sit on your hands because then you look like a fucking idiot. So, it's about giving the fans something to cheer about. That's all it is. It's so simple. And actually, even in that essay that they published, the one thing they said was, in terms of the atmosphere, getting the team back winning and playing well is key. And that is it. That is it. It's in a nutshell. Yes, you can talk about the semantics and the acoustics and all that type of stuff. But if I'm singing, it is a cauldron. It could be a cauldron of noise in this place. Ian says, "Are you playing the protest filming?" I'm working, so I'm literally, unfortunately, working. But there'll be plenty of, and I assume there'll be lots of filming, lots of coverage of that from other YouTube channels. But obviously, I'm working, so unfortunately, no. We aren't the only club who approaches managers. I totally agree. And that's due diligence. But unfortunately, ours tends to always be put out into the social media. I think purposefully as well. These types of pictures. I'm not sort of being a conspiracy theorist, but you know, why? As I go back to Tim Steiner and Potter, why film it in a hotel lobby? Why don't just get a room at the hotel? You know, they've got business lounges, they've got offices, you know, and do it there rather than for anyone to see. There's no naivety about that, particularly with someone like Tim Steiner, who utilised social media to orchestrate deals to get clubs that we know that full well. His relationship with Florian Peltenberg and Fabrizio Romano, that's what he did. So this was the same thing. I think what will interest, if we don't get the result today and Potter's gone, you know, we're led to believe that McCauley's gone as well and the staff. And I must say, I saw Billy yesterday at the game, the under-21s, where they won 3-0, and he looked calm, didn't agitated. I think from that we can assume, based on the game yesterday, that we won't see Callum Marshall, we won't see George Earthy make any minutes today. There was one point in the second half, where Earthy ran across the pitch and just checked with Billy how many minutes was due to be played. So yeah, and he just carry on playing. So I'm assuming they weren't going to be, or if they are, they'll be on the bench. But yeah, and I don't know, he's the type of manager. I bet he's probably got the team working better because he'll dig into the players. Do you know what I was thinking about it today, Kim? And I think, you know, in terms of, if we look under the current ownership, who are the managers who have succeeded? They have been British-based old school managers. Sam Allardyce and David Moyes. David Moyes more so, but Sam Allardyce in terms of getting a tune out of the team and the management setup. The reason it went south with Moyes really was the involvement of Tim Steiner. And I think if we didn't have Tim Steiner, Moyes would have probably still been at the club. I think potentially. And so, you know, you look at someone like Nuno. Nuno is very much he has a lot of, you said, David Moyes-esque qualities about him. And, you know, he likes control of a very old school sort of approach to transfers. He likes to have control of transfers. And that was one of the reasons why he obviously left Nottingham Forest, was Edu was getting more involved. Mariakis wanted more involved with Edu. We know he's got a relationship with George Mendes, which will be interesting to see what happens when it comes to obviously Sullivan's relationship with current agents, the likes of Salthouse and stuff. Which, you know, that's why it didn't surprise me that Gary O'Neill's name came up, because obviously he's a Salthouse player. Salthouse, you know, he's represented by Salthouse as well, I meant to say. And I think under this current regime, those type of managers work. I don't think these project managers work. And that to me is, you know, as much as, you know, I wanted Potter to do well, because I thought, yes, this is a new way of thinking. You know, it's not a firefighter, it's not an old school manager, it's someone who has a vision. And, you know, Chelsea tried it, didn't they? And they were the first, when Blueco came in, that was the first thing they did, was bring in Potter, which I thought was a really good you know, strategy at the time, because you thought, yeah, actually trying to build something. It's not same as when Newcastle, you know, they kept Eddie Howe, got Eddie Howe in and that type of thing, and rather than go out and getting a name manager, the right person for the job. And I think maybe at the moment that's the type of manager that we are going to be attracting at the moment. That might change, you know, one day, you know, if there's a change in ownership down the line, maybe one day, then that changes. I think the ambitions of the ownership will then match the ambitions of the fan base. That for me is the issue at the moment. But yeah, I totally agree. You're probably the right thing. Everyone's jumped. Let me get some more comments. Do you think? Let me try and find some comments. Timing reeks as usual. Links to managers. Yep, I agree. Timing's interesting. Josh, do you think Nuno should only get the season? Mate, well, I mean, for me, what I would always do is put them, they're coming in now. He's not offering a 2.5-year deal, give him a 6-month contract, and get renewed at the end of the season based on how things happen. But I don't think that'll be the case. I think Nuno will insist, and he's the type of person who's going to get a job somewhere. And if it's not at London Stadium, it could be at Ellen Road by 5 o'clock today if they lose against Wolves, in my opinion. Although I did see it, I watched the Independent, Backpage Independent today interview from Rafa Benitez. I want to play again. I want to manage again in the Premier League. There's one manager that David Summers always wanted, and that has been Rafa Benitez. I'm not saying we're getting him, but it was almost like I can always like a hold my beer moment. That's what it seemed like. It was so strange. Support the protest today, but we all need to support the team. Yeah, I agree, Steve. We need to support the team. I think that's the difference between us and Liverpool. When it's not going well, they sing. Even that. I mean, I was reading an article on BBC from a prominent Liverpool fan page, and there was complaints about the atmosphere there as well. I think it's not just a thing. We see it in the bubble. I don't think it's just a West Ham thing. I think in general, there's no denying the fact that football tourism has reduced crowds, crowd participation across the board. But I think when you're losing, it's even more evident. If you're winning, then if it's 5% less than it was when like two years ago, we wouldn't notice that, but we might notice it so clearly when we're losing. Rusty B talking since. Thank you, Michael. We need to win fans back. Yeah, indeed, totally agree. What a dilemma! I want my team to win, but desperately want Potter out. Well, it's not a dilemma. It's the first one. It's the first one. And it's a team of one. That's what I want. Back the team all the way. And whoever's the manager gets my full backing. If the decision is made afterwards that it's actually they want Nuno to come in, Nuno gets my backing, regardless of what anyone thinks. For me, it's the next one on. And actually, think about the game. If you want to download, see there's a QR code there. Our friends at Match Bingo, channel sponsors for all the match day content. If you could do me a favour and you're in the UK and Rosie, but you could download that link, download that QR code, download the app, and deposit a couple of quid, £5. But if you use the code WHN, all in capitals, you get 200% on top of that. So that ain't too bad. And you can get a couple of bingo cards for today's game and hopefully win some money back. You have to be 18 plus and UK based, of course. The manager's not the root of all problems. I totally agree. Simon's in the chats. Nice that he's on. Are you actually going to turn up to the Dubai Hammers today? Let me know. Josh, what even is a project manager? Well, I think Potter. Potter's wasn't going to come in and I'm going to walk and talk. Let me walk and talk. I think for me, Potter was never going to come in and can I put that there? Hopefully that works. That would do. Potter was never going to come in and hit the ground running in terms of change. It was a different philosophy, and someone who's not going to come in and I call it being a firefighter. I mean, for me, Nuno's not going to come in and he's going to come in and try and sort out the defence. And I think, he's very much a manager to steady the ship. Is he going to turn us into a Champions League side? No. Are we ever going to be turned Champions League side? I don't think now. I don't think really under the current ownership, in all honesty. I think there's a disparity in terms of our ambition as a fan base and the business. In that, we know that they budget for 11th, and if there's if there is ever any risk of us going down, they make a change. And they've done it several times, under West Ham. If we were an ambitious side, I mean, look at. Oh, nothing. No. If we were an ambitious side, I mean, look at Spurs. Much I don't like Spurs. They won a trophy and got rid of the manager, brought in Thomas Frank. That's ambition. That is a desire to compete. Whereas with us, we sort of made that wrong decision when we won the European trophy, in my opinion. Right, let's go for a few more comments. Every new manager's got a new reset transition period. Yes. But it's when they come in, now, if Nuno comes in for the Everton game, then he's not coming in to start a new project. He's coming in to basically keep in the Premier League. That's his job. So, it's not going to be. It's going to be very similar to David Moyes, But actually, under Moyes, we saw some good, we saw some, good wins. Under Moyes, we saw our greatest ever consistent Premier League finishes. We saw European football for 3 times in a row. So I think if Nuno comes in, it'll be very similar to when Moyes comes in. There'll be a 50-50 split. It's not everyone's gonna be over the moon with the appointment of Nuno. I don't think anyone will be over the appointment of anyone we signed, to be perfectly honest, because there's always going to be people who are like Ange. Some people really wanted Ange, and it's like, well, some people didn't want Ange. And in fact, yes, he did want to win a trophy, but Spurs fans didn't want Ange by the end of it, which seems very bizarre. What else we got? Kieran, good day to you. Don't forget to check out Old School Hammers every Wednesday. Kieran away from Australia. Will the investors be at the game? Nuno, I don't think Nuno will be at the game. If they're fine, they won't be at the game. Rush, do you think all the talk about new investors is trying to find something to talk about? Yes and no. Yes and no. For me, it was interesting when you were talking about the investors. Clearly, something happened. As we know, some people were shown around the ground, shown around Rush Green and stuff. It was suggested that it may have been people from Omana Development who are already currently West Ham sponsors, and it was potentially looking at them we're flashing our knickers at them, trying to see if they wanted something more in terms of their investments. We know there's a massive potential in terms of this area, in terms of what's owned, in terms of the land. You could see maybe, someone like Omar Developments, for them to come in and have a 15% stake in West Ham, which is what it could be, maybe 25%. If it was the full gold shares, you could see it happening. It would be a silent investor. It wouldn't be a takeover investor. But the timing is always an issue, isn't it? We've always seen that. Anytime there's any international breaks as well, the news isn't so strong. There's always talk of investment. There's always talk of new owners, particularly, as you said, with the likes of the protest starting today as well. Josh, what did Josh say? Josh says, I imagine it was up in the director's book. Well, definitely Kieran McGenna was there. Yeah, did you nice first, and I'll be having Disney on Ice. And the thing is, you don't expect that in Dubai, but it's the type of thing. Yeah, it's good. Oh, mate, I remember taking Flo. Sorry, we're just having a little brother moment. We used to take Flo every Christmas, and yes, get her into Disney because when obviously Abu Dhabi Disney comes up, yes, and she's already playing with the toys, which is good. I think they just haven't got in the Premier League, spend just enough. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's maintain that level of investment and doing enough. David, good day to you. Massive day, Kieran. You just passed the bell end. Yes, very good. Rich's sun is shining. Enjoy Johannesburg, my friend. Fuck off. Yes, my friend. And actually, I just saw, as we walked past, a South African kitchen stand, Rich. So when you come over it, you'll be like, you think at home. Yes, my friend. Yes. The sun was shining yesterday, as you could see in Faden Boys, with Nuno Espirito Santo. 25 degrees yesterday. What was going on? 20-ish today, overcast, probably going to piss it down. So, yes, if you're going to the protest, I'd probably bring a body just in case. Lucky's gone for a 2-2. Nuno's ability to stabilise the club and stop losing so badly. If he's the right manager, I would take him to see how it goes. Yeah, I think everyone would. I think, I give everyone, as I said, they all get chances. They'll get chances. The fact is, his record stand is impressive. What he does. he takes over side to, well, Forest is a little bit different, but in terms of Wolves, took over a side that was floundering and got them into Europe. That's what I mean. It's a similar thing to Moyes, in all honesty, in terms of what he did with us. Took us from there and took us into Europe. And I think us as a fan base, I think when we got that taste of Europe, despite what people say, we want more. We want those away days. We want those different games here. We want those Thursday nights here. It's fun. It's not fun at the moment. It's not fun getting beaten by Tottenham. It's not fun getting beaten by Chelsea. It's not fun when you look at it and you have to scroll down to the bottom. I mean, has anyone seen who's below us? Aston Villa. Aston Villa are 19th. And we're not seeing calls for Emery to go. And they're in the same position as us this season. They're one worse. And I think we want Europe back here. That's got to be the strategy, surely. Yes, Premier League football is lovely, and it's sort of the standard, but we should be in Europe again. I miss those days. It's great fun. I love them. Talking to different fans as well. We talk to the same opposition fans all the time because every year is great. But finding out about clubs, travelling. I really hope that maybe not this year, but maybe next year. But who knows? It's only been 4 games of the season. You know what I mean? You could go on a massive run. Anything's possible, and it is with West Ham. Greetings from Sydney. Is it true Billy Jones? Now, let me tell you what I know about this rumour. So, obviously, we've had Slav on the channel, haven't we? Go back and check it out. Great interview with Slaven Bilic. Man is a beautiful man. I love him very much. He loves West Ham. Talking to people close to him, which are the same people that X has spoken to. You don't pay $5 for this. He's basically, I ain't joking. He would love to come back. He would consider himself a contender for the job if Potter leaves. But by the sounds of it, it looks like Nuno is going to be the man. But there was truth in that matter. Someone said need to win back fans. If you're a true fan, you support truth. No, I agree. Sounds fickle to win back fans. I say win back fans, but I think when it's the not necessarily win back the fans, but get the fans back on board. Yes, I agree. You support the team for thick and thin, and we do. People do. But in terms of that excitement, the expectation, that's what we need. That's what we need. Right, what we got here? Helen, Red from Wolves fans is at club just to get the payout. Wait and see, mate. Mark, hope you're well. Marcin, because I'm Croatian, as my mate told me. There we go. Not sure if we ever get European. We all do. I think we will do one day. We've got the players, just need the manager. Didn't think got a 7-0 win over Brighton last season. I would take that. Yeah, but don't forget, under Moyes, back to back we beat Leicester 4-0 and Wolves 3-0, or vice versa here back in the days. So look, at the end of the day, whoever's in the dugout, we support the team, and let's hope. For me, I want us to get a victory today because I'm West Ham fan first. And if it's not meant to be, then it's not meant to be. Que sera, sera, as the song says. Anyway, keep an eye on the channel. We'll have the starting 11 show. We'll also have the watch along as well. And if you see me, if you're at the ground, you're walking around, come over and say hello. Say hello, have a chin wag. Have a chin with Rusty B. And we'll have a debrief and chat about the game. But don't forget to like, comment, share. Don't forget to check out Match Bingo as well. Hit the QR code, download the app, and put in WHN in the promo code to get 200% return on your deposit bonus. All right? I'll see you later, peeps. See you on the flippage flop. Much love. Take care. Bye. Goodbye.